Hi, the Lee Farnell here, and you're listening to Leading Your Best Life. Today we're going to talk about the power of storytelling when it comes to communication and how it affects the brain. This is a real mind blower, so stay with me. Welcome back. This is just amazing. I was going through the internet looking on LinkedIn at my good friend Rabia Sadiq's page, and up came a couple of fantastic graphics that I think I want to share with you. This one, firstly, is on about how storytelling affects the brain. How storytelling, when you're actually, as a teacher, whether you're a parent, whether you're a coach, whether you're a manager, a leader, relationships, in life, the power of storytelling. Let me just go through a few things. How storytelling affects the brain. One, neural coupling. A story synchronizes the listener's brain with the teller's brain. It synchronizes our brains. Our neurons start to fire together and connect. Then that links to mirroring. We mirror neurons to enable the listener to mirror the experience. So they're mirroring the internal experience of the speaker, you, if you're telling the story. Cortical activity. Two areas of the brain are activated when processing facts, but stories activate many more additional areas. It sets up and fires up so much more cortical activity in terms of the neural cortex, the frontal lobe, the other parts of the brain. Really amazing. Dopamine. The brain releases dopamine in response to an emotionally charged event, such as resolution of a conflict or even recognition of a particular pattern. Of course, it's a bit like in a movie when there's excitement, you're engaged in the movie, there's dopamine is released. So it creates a pleasurable response, but also makes it easier for the memory and the recall, because we know that memory is coded on emotion. So you'll remember the most exciting time you had, or the best time you had, or the saddest time you had. Whereas if you said, what did you do on April 4th? I don't know, unless it was an exciting or sad time. So memory is coded on emotion, so you want to actually make your communications emotional, ideally positively emotional, so people associate you with positive. There are certain people who are grumpy or always grumpy, and you leave you feeling not so good, and so you associate that emotion with them. As a leader, you want to associate people, or people to associate things like hope, excitement, positivity, brighter future with you, not being scolded or negativity. Cortisol, the brain releases cortisol when it experiences conflict, which increases attention and memory. So at times in your communication, you may want to talk about conflict or talk about stress or talk about a situation that has dissonance there, because that'll create more attention. It could be, good versus bad, competition with, the evil competitor, a customer issue. So where there's emotion and conflict, cortisol goes up, increases attention span, increases memory. And then finally, oxytocin. The brain releases oxytocin in response to characters that increase empathy and connection, as well as compassion and trust. So when you're telling a story, whether it be about yourself or someone else that may be going through a hard time, or maybe upset, or maybe having a great time, a birth of a child, but emotional. So you're creating an emotional connection and empathy so that people start to feel either compassion and or trust. Isn't this fantastic? As Rabia says in her post, harness the power of storytelling, because I certainly believe in the power of story, particularly human stories about humans. In fact, I went to this seminar the other day, and only one speaker really told stories that had any level of connection with them in their career, whether it be they had a boss that was a bully, or they had a boss that was a great mentor, or they talked about a problem they had where they had to leave their holiday because of a problem, an accident that occurred at work, and they had to pull up stumps. But they made it a human connection, where there was this academic fellow talking, and it was all just theory and models, and not once did he talk about anything in regard to being a human being, or particularly human beings in the workplace. It was all academic models, and so we knew there were almost no part of our brain was being activated compared to the power of human storytelling. So how can you use storytelling in your communications? Human storytelling, whether it be about your grandkids, or whether it be about customers, or whether it be about great customer service. How can you plan the use of storytelling so that you're engaging the neural cortex. You're engaging all parts of the brain so that dopamine and cortisol and oxytocin are being released in the listener, in the person you're communicating with. Hope this helps. Storytelling really does affect the brain for good or bad. Use it strategically so that it affects for good. I'm Lee Farnell, and you're listening to Leading Your Best Life, and I'll see you next time.